Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. This is cis1103, week 11. Okay, although it's written here week 10. No, week 11 PowerPoint. Okay, transport layer. Okay, transport layer. So we are going to discuss transport layer. What are the two main protocols in transport layer, and what is port numbers? We use network services available over networks and the internet to communicate with others. And when you are using your computer, you are using the browser, you are using FTP, you are using Office. Okay. So these are some of the services or servers on the internet. We have email, we have web, we have file. The email, it runs email server software. Clients use email client software. Web, the web servers run web server software. Clients uses the browser. Give me an example of browser. Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Edge, Microsoft Edge. Stop. خلاص. Yeah, it's stop. Safari, yeah, خلاص. Okay, yeah, very good. And then we have the file server, stores corporate and user files in central location. So here we have an example. We have one gentleman here sitting. He wants to access a website. So he's opening his web browser and sending a request. Let's say that he is requesting a web page. The server will receive the request and responds by sending the requested web page back to the client, the real index file, or the landing page of the website. A web server is usually in a part of the network with other servers called the server farm. And usually we put the servers in one location to protect them. We call it server farm. Okay. The two most common protocols for transport are TCP and UDP. Okay. Before that, a web server and web client uses specific protocols, okay, to exchange the information. Okay. This is managed by the TCP/IP suite of protocols. TCP/IP suites has all the protocols needed by the layers. Okay. So we have application layer protocols such as HTTP, HTTPS. We have transport layers protocols, UDP, TCP. We have internetwork layer protocol such as IP. We have network access layer protocols such as Ethernet. Please remember, this is important slides. TCP and UDP. Each service has its own application protocols that are implemented. Now, all common internet services, they use IP for address and routing, okay, to route between the routers. The service application decides which transport protocol to use. Transport protocols specify how to manage the transfer of messages between hosts. Yani, if I am using, let's say I am using YouTube. This is my application. Application will decide, YouTube will decide, it will use UDP or TCP. Because UDP is different than TCP. Okay? Now we will tell you the differences between them. TCP is reliable. Yani when you send something with TCP, you can get acknowledgement that it is received. Okay? It is connection oriented. It will establish connection between the sender and the receiver. Okay? TCP breaks up the message into smaller pieces. We call them segments. These segments are numbered in sequence. TCP tracks the number of segments that have been sent. if a sender does not receive an acknowledgement within a certain period of time, TCP will assume that the segment is lost. It will resend it again. See how good it is? TCP is very reliable. Okay. On the receiving host, TCP is responsible for reassembling the messages according to their original numbers in order, and then it will pass them to the applications. Okay, this is done by TCP. It's reliable, connection-oriented. It splits message into segments. Give a number to these segments. On the receiver side, it will reassemble them according to their numbers. Okay. UDP is actually a best effort delivery. Best effort meaning that does not guarantee delivery. So it's best effort. It's not reliable. It is connectionless. It will just send, does not wait for acknowledgement, does not care, just keep sending. Okay? UDP is preferable with applications that use time-sensitive technology, such as VoIP. And when you are talking on the phone, if you are using IP application, you cannot, when you are saying words, the most important thing that the speed. The other side should receive the voice on time. Even if there is little noise, it's okay. I will not tell you, send me that letter again. So it's hard. You cannot do that. Okay. So UDP is preferable for applications that use time-sensitive technology. We always, when we ask you about the difference, you need to mention this also. Acknowledgements would slow down delivery and retransmission are undesirable. Okay. So UDP does not request that. Example for using UDP is time-sensitive, such as VoIP. Very good. Okay. We have some important or famous UDP and TCP port numbers, such as the ports are assigned and managed by ICANN, sorry, this is Internet Agency, ICANN, and ports are broken into 3 categories. Well-known ports, such as for HTTP, we use port. Who knows the port for HTTP? 80. These are very common port numbers. Then we have registered ports. This is from 1024 to 49,151. And then we have private ports. These are the most common port numbers. They might ask you about this, okay? And you should know that FTP, port 20 for data, port 21 for control. Telnet 23, SMTP 25, SMTP for email, and so on, okay? DNS, it uses both UDP and TCP, and port 53, okay? DHCP uses UDP. HTTP uses port 80. You see this one? HTTPS. What's the difference between HTTP and HTTPS? HTTPS is more secure. Destination and source port numbers. A source port number is associated with the originating application on the local sending host. Let me explain this to you. You are running web browser in your computer. You are sending a request to the server. The server sends back the request. How does your computer know that it should display this request on the Chrome or on HTTP? From the port number. That's why you can run multiple applications on your computer. Each one is using different ports. Okay? So we have source port. It is dynamically generated by the sending device. Then we have destination port. The client places a destination port number in the segment to tell the destination server what service is being requested. Yani those common port numbers, they are put in the destination port. Yani when my computer sees a request and the destination port is 80, it knows that which service is requested. HTTP. Okay. Any questions? Socket pairs is actually the IP address and the port number. They call it socket pair. Like this, they write it like this. 192.168.1.5, this is the IP address, and then colon and the port number, 1099, okay? So socket on a web server might look like 192.168.1.7 colon 80, okay? So these two numbers will combine to create a socket pair, okay? And source and destination. The source port number acts as a return address for the requesting application. خلاص? Any questions about this chapter? Yeah, it's nice and yeah, it's easy.